Some of the heaviest marriages I know aren't breaking from new wounds. They're breaking under the weight of old ones, unspoken, unresolved, replayed quietly in a husband's mind. Brother, unforgiveness doesn't stay in the past. It follows you into every conversation, every disagreement, and every attempt at closeness. And it poisons the very covenant you're trying to protect, while telling you it's keeping you safe. Most men don't refuse forgiveness out of cruelty. They refuse it out of self-protection. Because letting go feels like losing leverage, like excusing what hurt you, like surrendering ground you already bled on. So you hold on. You remember those words, the tone, the moment that trust cracked, and you tell yourself you've moved on. While your body stays tense, your reactions stay sharp, and your marriage quietly pays the price. Here's the truth most men miss. Unforgiveness doesn't only punish your wife, it reshapes the man you're becoming. Scripture doesn't treat forgiveness as optional. Colossians 3:13 says it clearly, bearing with one another and forgiving one another, even as Christ forgave you, so you also must do. Now here's the objection every man feels but rarely admits. If I forgive her, she gets away with it. Forgiveness doesn't erase responsibility. It releases you from carrying the weight of judgment. Forgiveness isn't denial. It isn't weakness. And it isn't forgetting. Forgiveness is the decision to release judgment without rewriting what happened. And that kind of forgiveness requires strength most men have not refined. It's impossible to keep unforgiveness contained. It hardens your tone, shortens your patience, and narrows your heart. And eventually, it becomes distance you don't know how to undo. Biblical forgiveness has three primary components. First, clarity. Forgiveness doesn't ignore the wound. It names it honestly, without exaggeration or minimization. Second, release. You choose to stop rehearsing the offense as justification for withdrawal, control, or retaliation, because replaying pain always rewrites the future you're trying to build. And third, discipline. Forgiveness isn't a feeling you have once. It's a choice you may need to repeat every time the memory resurfaces. Weak men suppress pain. Unwise men weaponize it. Wise men surrender it to God and refuse to let it rule them. Here's where unforgiveness exposed me. I said I had forgiven, but my tone, distance, and reactions proved I hadn't. I wasn't leading from love. I was leading from memory. And until I released what I kept replaying, I couldn't build what God was asking me to protect. When forgiveness enters a marriage, conversations soften, safety increases, and trust has room to rebuild. Not because wounds disappear, but because they stop dictating behavior. Forgiveness doesn't erase leadership. It restores it, because a forgiven heart is no longer reactive. It's steady. This week, identify one unresolved offense. One moment you still replay, one wound you keep referencing, silently or out loud. Bring it to God honestly, and then ask yourself, am I holding this to stay protected, or is it quietly costing my marriage? Release doesn't mean trust is automatic. It means leadership is restored. Next week, we confront what forgiveness alone cannot fix. Because a marriage can be healed and still feel alone inside the same home. Husbands, forgiveness is not a feeling. It's a leadership decision. Unforgiveness keeps you reactive. Forgiveness restores steadiness. If this helped you, stand with this work by subscribing and sharing it with another husband who may need it. Forged in faith, bound by covenant. Let's get to work.